Welcome to the video presentation, Building Tables Using HTML. During this exercise, I'll be using Notepad to create our code and Internet Explorer to view it. The HTML table allows you to present information in an organized fashion, using columns and rows. Depending on the data that you're going to present, your tables could be used to build columns. So maybe a textual story could be presented similar to the way it might show up in a newspaper or a magazine with a multi-column format. You can also use it to place data side by side for comparisons. Another common way to use tables in HTML is to be able to take data that you want to look like it's coming from or going to a spreadsheet, such as a Microsoft Excel. If you think of using Microsoft Excel with its rows and columns and individual cells, you can get a little bit of an idea of the capacity and formatting ability of the HTML table tag. Tables, like most other visible HTML content, need to reside within the HTML body tag. I'm going to go ahead and start an HTML document here. Here we have some header information to get us started. I'll go ahead and I'm going to create a table tag or a title tag. And since this is going to be a list of trees, I'm actually going to call it simply tree list for the title. We'll close the head and we'll open the body. Close the body and then close the HTML. I'll give myself a couple spaces so we have some room to work within the body. The foundational tag of HTML for use in building the tables is called the table tag. It's good and simple, makes a lot of sense. I'll close the table tag. And the first thing we're going to want to do is create a row within that table. We'll do that by using the TR tag. And we'll close the TR tag here. You can remember the TR tag by simply remembering table row. Right now, we have the structure for a basic table with one row. Now, what we're going to want to do next is we're going to want to actually build some cells within that rows, or the actual columns. We do that by using the TD tag. Right here, we now have a table that's complete. We know that it's one table because there's one set of table tags. The one right here turning the table on, and the one right here closing it. Within that table there's one row using the TR tags. TR is opened here, and the TR or table row is closed here. In that row there's one set of cells, or you can say one set of data, table data. I'm going to go ahead and add another set here. As we've discussed previously, HTML basically ignores white space. We're going to use that to our advantage here to make this a little more readable. I'm going to do some indenting and spacing. You may find that this kind of indenting will help you to be able to keep track of your code and understand what's happening with your code, especially when troubleshooting. There we go. This again shows us we have one table that starts here, one row, and then within that row, two columns. Since this is going to be a tree list of prices and availability of trees from a landscape supplier, I'm going to use the examples of pine and oak. Right now we have a table that will actually display content. So I'm going to save this file. say save as, an HTML document that I'm going to call trees. And for simplicity, I'm going to save it right to my desktop. And there you can take a look just to the left of my notepad. There it is. I want to test this and see how we're doing so far. So I'm going to pull that document on top of Internet Explorer, look at Internet Explorer, and there we go. We have the words oak and pine. Right now it basically just looks like two words next to each other. So I'm going to introduce another attribute here that could help us. It's the border attribute. The border is basically the outline of the individual cells. We're going to set the border attribute to 3. I'm going to save the document. And again, I'm just going to pull that document right onto Internet Explorer, make Internet Explorer active, and you see what's changed. Now we not only have the words oak and pine, but we actually have a border around these. Now the border attribute and the value we've set it to can be almost anything you want. Let's just increase it up to 50 and see what happens. Save the document and view it in Internet Explorer. Wow, look at that. The border size has increased substantially. Not very practical, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm going to go ahead and set that back to 3. Now that's a little better. That's a little more reasonable border around those items. One of the things I suggest is when you have code you've written, take advantage of that code by copying it and reusing it. For instance, in this table, I'm going to want more than 2 different trees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this table data like this. Now anytime you do this, make sure you change the important actual data pieces so you're not using the same ones over and over. In this case, I'm going to make one of the trees called a cherry tree, and we'll make one of them a willow. Again, I'm going to save the document and look at it in Internet Explorer. Now we have a table that says oak, pine, cherry, and willow. Now we're going to want to provide additional information for each of these trees. Again, if you look at the code we have one table, starts here, ends on the table off. We have 1 row, and then 4 data pieces within that row. What I'd like to do is create a whole additional row. So I'm going to copy the first row I created, paste it. Now if I look at this, I'm going to have 2 identical rows. Not what we want, but we should take a look and see how this looks right now. We have oak, pine, cherry, willow, followed by oak, pine, cherry, willow. In the second column, or in the second row, I don't really want to repeat the names of the trees. What I really would like to do is have the sizes of the trees that we have available. Now these sizes are going to correspond to the trees that were listed in the first row. I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. But the 3 to 4 foot size is related to the oak, or the first column. The 2 to 3 foot size is related to the pine, or the second column. The 4 to 5 foot size that I'm typing in right now is related to the third item. And the fourth data piece, the willow, let's say we sell those for 7 to 8 foot size, is related to the fourth item in the first row. Save this and let's take a look. Now hopefully you're starting to see some kind of order here that makes sense. You're seeing oaks at 3 to 4 feet, pine at 2 to 3. And this could be any type of data. We've just chosen trees here. Now let's say I want 1 more row. And this is going to be the price of each of these trees. Again, I'm not going to manually retype all the code. I'm going to take the code for the row, copy it, and then paste it. And again, making sure that I'm relating each column to the specific tree that we're talking about. So for the first item, I'm looking for the price, and I'm going to call it $24.95. That's related to the first item in this set of data. The second one is pine. We're going to say the price on the pine is $19.95. Third item is the cherry. We're going to say the price on the cherry is $45.95. And then the last item is the willow, and we're going to say the willow is $15.95. Save our document to our desktop and take a look and see how we're doing. Again, starting to look like more of a usable table for us.